Glenn Close has had to tap into her dark side for some of her most memorable roles. Alex Forrest in Fatal Attraction, Patty Hughes in her current show Damages. Today she's talking for the first time on television about the struggles with mental illness in her own family. We'll talk with Glenn and her sister Jessie in a moment. But first, a look at the sisters and their new campaign to bring awareness to this issue. For over 25 years, actress Glenn Close has been wowing us with memorable roles.
Dan, if you'd agreed to see me, I wouldn't have called you.
But behind all that Hollywood glamour, Close was dealing with a painful family secret, her sister Jessie's battle with mental illness. Jessie believes her symptoms began as a baby. She couldn't sleep and cried all the time. She was always labeled the wild one in the family. But it wasn't until 9 years ago they found a real diagnosis, that Jessie is actually bipolar.
1 in 6 adults has a mental illness, and we face a stigma that can be as painful as the disease itself.
And now they are both playing leading roles, appearing in a national campaign to address that stigma associated with mental illness.
Change a mind about mental illness, and you can change a life.
And they join us now, Glenn and Jessie Close. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, George.
So that was the first time the country has seen that public service announcement, you in Grand Central Station. How did this all come about?
Well, it came about because of my family. You know, Jess was diagnosed when you were 47 with bipolar disorder after living it with it probably her whole life.
Yeah.
And his son, Kalen.
My son has schizoaffective disorder, which is like bipolar and schizophrenia.
And you only discovered your illness after his was discovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was properly diagnosed, let's say, after he got sick. Yeah.
And I just have to, as I was watching you all in that public service announcement, I could only imagine what it was like to walk through Grand Central Station with that T-shirt sort of declaring to the world,
Yeah.
here I am. That must have been tough.
It was intimidating, yeah, but I was proud to do it. There's just been too much silence about this.
Did it take much convincing?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I called Jess up and I said, we've designed this campaign and we want it to be totally authentic. We want people in it who actually are supporting those with mental illness or have mental illness, and without hesitation, I said, well, are you willing to out yourself on national television? And she said yes.
Immediately?
As did Kalen, her son.
No hesitation.
So in that ad that you'll see, the PSA that will be on the internet on bringchangetomind.org, everybody you'll see is actually a family with mental illness, you know, in that family, whether it's depression or PTSD or schizophrenia.
And this is obviously something your family was struggling with for quite some time. You know, we mentioned in the piece how you in your acting career have had to play. You said to yourself, Alex Forrest, borderline personality. You studied mental illness as you prepared for those roles, yet didn't recognize it in your own family?
I think that's probably true in a lot of families. We just didn't have the vocabulary. We didn't have the knowledge. We didn't know that it wasn't just being wild and, you know, there was something going on there. And so...
didn't know or didn't want to know?
I don't think we knew. First of all, we didn't know what it was, and second of all, we didn't know how to talk about it.
No, we come from, you know, the tradition, you hardly ever went to a psychiatrist. It wasn't done. You certainly don't talk about depression or alcoholism or any mental illness. It's just not done, and I think a lot of people still feel that.
And looking back, though, were the clues there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yep.
And what you know, you're called the wild one as a child. You come from a very creative family. You're an actor. Your son is a painter, and you know there's been so much written about this connection between creativity and mental illness.
I think what a great, we're getting more and more sophisticated medication, because I think mental illness is just part of the human condition. It's been around forever, and I envision when we can talk about it as freely and openly as cancer or diabetes. But I think the challenge is to keep people with mental illness living full and productive and creative lives, and that is totally possible.
For a long time you felt, though, like the sacrificial lamb in your family.
Yeah, for a long time I wasn't able to create. I'm a writer, and the medication, you have to be your own advocate. You have to become willing to take care of your illness. And that usually means taking some fairly strong medication.
How did that happen for you? How did you make that leap to come out and say, I am going to be my own advocate?
It just evolved. It just became obvious that I was really, it has to start with you. Like anything, it has to start with you.
And now you are on medication today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people struggle with this decision to take the medication, because on the one hand, it clears you up. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, it could flatten you out, and there are other side effects. Mm-hmm. Is that difficult for you?
Yeah, the medication will help if you stick with it. If you're vocal with your psychiatrist or psychopharmacologist about how you feel. Both my son and I were terrified that we wouldn't be able to create. He's a fabulous painter.
And we want to show one of his paintings. I think we have a self-portrait that he's just completed.
Oh, yeah. There he is.
So he's able to work now, you're able to work now.
He's able to work now, I'm able to work now, and I guess what I would say is be patient with yourself, love yourself.
Talk about the trade-offs, you know, about some of the side effects.
Yeah, there's side effects. Oh gosh, not feeling particularly well a lot of the time, getting tired easily, the weight. I was skinny my whole life, and now that I'm on medication, I'm obviously heavy. But it's worth it. The side effects are worth it. Labs are coming out with new drugs all the time. And I wouldn't give up how I can function now, even though I have to deal with the side effects.
It's worth it. That is a good message to end on. Yeah. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
You can find out more about this campaign at abcnews.com. And next we're going to